Speaking of which, everybody remember you got to do a OHV training.
Yes.
Yeah, I already did mine.
I am so frustrated with
What's
that.
OHV?
The cost of that.
That's a new one this year.
Everybody,
Oh,
no
wait.
matter how old or.
Just did it, but nobody knows about it.
You guys are making this.
So if you're gonna drive a race.
I don't need that.
A motorcycle race.
I thought this was.
Because I own it. Well, so do I have to do three?
Oh my God.
Remember that?
Golf cart, any of that stuff.
Biggest thing.
No, you just know the people who pull you over and say,
Trail.
yeah, we're
Mayor, were you able to get in touch with
that
that?
has never happened. Big, nudge, nudge. When Brady pulls me over and sees who it is, he's like, no, I said, oh, yes, you are. You're gonna give me a ticket.
We're on the recorder. We're 2 minutes away, but everything is on recording now.
You're like, yeah, and yes, he did give me a ticket. There you go. That's
It's ridiculous. I saw it.
James Carroll.
With one of the planning items. Well, I hope everyone loves my training because it seems like everyone can't wait.
Yeah, but you usually have to do it online.
So this proof would be that you guys were here, the minutes, and who attended it. Is my proof.
So Anne's gonna have to do the training and Steve can lead my training.
Can you do it at the end and I'll just leave?
I think it is at the end, but it's.
It's, I'm sure it'll be better with you
Are you gonna
sending it.
get the test too?
I'm not doing a test. The test isn't required. I think it's just for an online.
Yeah, to prove
To
that
make sure
you
you
watched
did
the video. No, I got to the test and took it and passed it.
What?
I know, it was a miracle.
Years gone by, you failed. a couple times.
No,
Oh, HBO.
Watching a bunch of videos and.
Steve, what are you doing? Facing the other?
oh.
See if you actually read it or. So you did it?
Yeah. And my brother sent it around. I wouldn't know otherwise.
Well, it's.
No, this is.
They won't start enforcing it until February 1st.
Yeah, but there's, I mean, nobody's gonna. Oh, you actually,
I printed it in line.
I got it on my phone, but I was gonna do it.
I did too.
One of my glove box, but that's. Do we have to redo it? I don't know.
No, once a lifetime. And kids under 16 still have to pay $35 or whatever it is to take the full course.
Okay, I have 6 o'clock. Everybody ready? Recording? Did Dan trade somebody for the pledge and that then? If not, I'll do it.
Just for volunteers, but no.
All right. All right, I'll call to order this Pleasant View City Council meeting this Tuesday, January 10th, 2023, 6 p.m. Welcome, everybody. We'll start with pledge of allegiance, opening prayer reading of thought by myself. Please rise and join me in the pledge.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Father in heaven, we're grateful to assemble this night as Pleasant View City Council. We're grateful for the opportunity we've been given to serve the great citizens of Pleasant View. We pray that we might be open and be able to discern those things which are most beneficial for our great residents. Father, we're grateful for this rain and snow that we've been receiving. Know that it's an answer to many prayers that our citizens have been offering to help end in the drought. We're grateful for those members of staff and for all the work they do, especially at this time, grateful for our public works people and all that many hours that they've been spending dealing with these storms. We ask a blessing upon them, watch over and protect them as they're continuing to deal with the upcoming storms. Again, we're grateful for all that we have and knowledge that these blessings come from thee. And it says, prayer in the name of Jesus Christ, amen. All right, item 1B is the declaration of conflicts of interest. Any conflicts that anybody's seen on the agenda? No? Seeing none, we'll move to 1C, public comments. Any members of the public wish to address the council? Seeing none, we'll move to 2, which are the consent items, the minutes of November 15th, 2022 and December 13th, 2022, open and closed, and December 27th, 2022, and the bills of Pleasant View City. The closed minutes, I believe, are in your folder, the March, the red folder. Yeah. Hopefully you've had a chance to read that. Any corrections or any comments on the bills? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent
I'll
items.
make a motion that we approve the consent items for November 15th and December 13th, open and closed. Oh, and December 3rd, 27th.
Okay, do I have a second? And the bills.
Oh, and the bills.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion by Marriott, second by Yuri. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Great. Planning Commission appointments. First, 3A is discussion possible action to appoint David Gosner to the Planning Commission with the term of appointment to extend through January 2027. I don't know if Dave, did you send him a link?
I did. I don't know if he's able to make it on.
He was traveling out of town to, I believe, to California. And I told him we would like to have him here, but I don't know. Some of you know him.
I know David.
This would be a new appointment though, right?
Yes.
He's not an alternate either.
No.
Lives,
In Oakland,
yeah, kind of.
between 1100 and 900 up in Seattle.
No, he lives over between 800, off of 800 back this way. There's a cul-de-sac, about 39, 38, 3900, 3850. I believe it's 3850.
He's very smart.
He's Gosner from Gosner Cheese.
Mhm.
He's an accounting type person and
He's well thought out.
yeah.
And Mary, I apologize. I'm looking in my email and I don't know for sure if I did send him the link or not. So that might.
Well, either way.
Do we know?
Can we
if
do
he-
these all at once or do you want to go through them one at a time?
Was he approached or?
He
was
actually,
interested, or-
we had the interest forms out about 8 months ago, and he was one of the submissions for.
And I know him very well. And so I called him, talked to him and he was really interested, still wanted to do it. And
He and I have talked about it. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to appoint David Gosner to the Planning Commission with a term appointment to extend through January 2027.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, motion by Yuri, second by Marriott. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oops. Any opposed? Motion carries. Too many boards. Okay, 3B, discussion possible action to reappoint Andy Neff to the Planning Commission with the term of appointment to extend through January 2027. Andy is currently I don't know.
He
He's
is
the chair now. Till
They'll be reappointing a new chair
Yeah.
next month. It may be the same chair. We don't know.
you never know.
He's
So.
done a great job.
He has, and I would recommend he be reappointed. And we can do I think we can do these two together. And the other is Dean Stokes to the Planning Commission. Both of these people have been contacted and wish to remain on the Planning Commission.
And Mary, if you don't mind if I just chime in quickly on this. So this is a cleanup item, just to make sure all of our appointments are current on the Planning Commission. As you all recall, a couple of months ago, we did this for the Board of Adjustment as well. And with this action this evening, depending on kind of where this goes, it does provide clarification and kind of clean up the term appointments. Moving forward, we do have a roster for each of the groups that has the appointment dates so that we can track in the future when appointments are coming to term.
Thank you, Amy. I appreciate that clarification. I tasked Amy with doing this project for us. Because our ordinance does call out 4 terms. And just been treating it as you don't want to serve anymore. So
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we reappoint Andy Neff and Dean Stokes to extend their appointments through January 2027 on the Planning Commission board.
I'll second the motion.
okay. Motion by Gibson, second by Yuri. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Sorry.
Great motion.
David Gosner is not going to be an alternate. Is he a full
He's-
member or is he not?
An
So
alternate
he is an alternate.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
for
And we actually, we kind of went back and forth on how to do that because we haven't in the past appointed them as alternates necessarily. But because when we have change occur, it's just nice to have the influx to be able to move them up. One of the things, and I will send out the roster if that's helpful, but we did bump with the change Commissioner Wilkinson up. And it's not any problem with Commissioner Cotter, who is wonderful, but Commissioner Wilkinson just has a little bit more experience in the planning side. So felt that maybe as a full commissioner at this point.
Opportunities, considering that it's,
Almost every time there's.
Yeah,
need for-
there's participation. Yeah, so.
I fully support that decision. Commissioner Wilkinson has a lot of experience.
Okay, item 4 is the rezone request. Discussion possible action to consider rezone request from RE 15 to RE 20 located between Pleasant Drive and Highway 89 and northwest of Budget Egg. Parcel number 19-014-0078, ordinance number 2023-1. Brandon.
Mayor, members of the council, the extremely small piece of property is
Okay. This is an extremely minor cleanup item. It's a small parcel that is anticipated to be combined with a larger parcel. You can see up on the screen, it's outlined in red. I think it's approximately 578 square feet. The applicant is currently working on subdivision plans and wants to combine this parcel with the parcel just to the north to make that that when it becomes a lot, a single piece of property, and just make it slightly more amenable to development. The applicant would like to change the zoning from the RE 15 zone to the RE 20 zone. And it'd be a slightly lower density zone, but given the fact that the parcel to the north already meets the requirements for the RE 20 zone. So it's a change of small consequence. If you can see, Lori, if you can just scroll to the page on the staff report, I think it's page 2.
Brandon, what is he trying to get out of it? What is he trying to get?
They're
You said there's slightly different things they could do in that RE 20 than 15. What does he want to do?
They're just actually trying to meet the requirements of the ordinance. They're supposed to have the lot all in one zone, and with the property as it is, it's a technicality essentially.
As you said, a slightly different density. I just wondered,
It's going from a 15 to a 20.
but is there a density that they can allow in a 20 versus like something different that they can allow in a 20 they can't allow in a 15?
I know that there's some animals, but functionally speaking, it won't give them any additional rights because they already have the zoning on the other one. So that's why I mentioned it as a cleanup item yeah, but they already have it on the parcel to the north that they're combining it with. So they're just taking this piece of property and they need to make it consistent with the parcel to the north as they combine it. So pretty simple. You can see this is a draft version of their, if you go to the next page, actually it's a page just 2 up from in the other direction of their subdivision map or plat. Maybe it's not in there, but they've got a 4-lot subdivision.
Yeah, I don't think it's in here, but that's okay.
Okay. They've got a 4-lot subdivision that they're working on developing, and they're just adding that small piece into it, to the 4th of the 4 lots. And the Planning Commission voted 4-0 to approve a motion to recommend approval of this rezone as presented by staff. And again, it's proposed to go from RE 20 to, for RE 15 to RE 20. And I think that covers everything that I have to say. Are there any questions that the council has for me on that? 4-0. Yeah.
It's 0.01 acres, so it's a pretty small piece. Okay. Well,
It's not, that's not part of the,
yeah.
it doesn't make any difference, but
So just
I don't think it'll be there, Amy, because It's a draft version. Like,
On your flash drive?
I can put it on the flash drive. It just didn't get, it's in my staff report, but I don't know why it's not in. If you go the other direction, it might be. I don't know what happened, but there's a page missing from the staff report. So
575 square feet. If we end up with a really tall, skinny apartment building, I'm going to be mad about that. Somehow that's the master plan.
Comment.
are there any other questions for me? They're not actually, correct.
Okay. Any further discussion? If not, an entertain a motion.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve the rezone of, to RE20 for parcel 190140078, ordinance 2023-1.
A motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion by Marriott, second by Nelson, roll call. Nelson? Yuri?
Yes.
Marriott?
Yes.
Gibson? Motion carries, thank you. Okay, item 5 is conditional use and site plan. Discussion and possible action to consider a conditional use and site plan for the construction of a single family home at Waterfall Drive, lot number 28, Pole Patch 2 subdivision. Brandon.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, this one's a little bit more detailed. As I've been reviewing the code in the last couple of months, since starting with Pleasant View City, the code requires, for sensitive lands at least, that conditional use permits for insensitive land areas go to be considered by the city council and the planning commission. And that section of the code is stated at the beginning of the staff report. The planning commission recommended approval of the conditional use permit with the requirement that the remaining recommended conditions of approval that are listed in this report with the recommended requirement that the remaining recommended conditions of approval that are listed in this report need to be fulfilled to staff's satisfaction. That was their recommendation. There was a couple of issues that were discovered in the last few days prior to coming here tonight that staff will be discussing as well. But several of the conditions that were that were recommended as we went to planning commission were fulfilled. So residential single-family dwellings are a permitted use in this zone, but since it's in a sensitive lands area, they're then conditional use permits, which is what brings us here tonight. And then this is the A5 zone. The single-family dwelling should be able to be approved. However, there is a proposed accessory building that is what staff's recommending is they're not formally allowed in the zone. They have been there. We're aware that accessory buildings have been approved, but they're not formally listed in the code. What staff's recommendation on that is that the accessory building may be considered as approved as part of this conditional use permit with a recommended condition that the council and planning commission consider a zone text amendment. So it would be if you find it satisfactory that the council would accessory building conditioned upon the approval of a future text amendment. So they wouldn't be able to go forward with it unless that happened, but they'd be able to go forward at the main dwelling, but not the accessory building. I know that's maybe not the typical process, but we felt that was the best way to handle it given the situation. And I'm happy to discuss that further if you have questions on that.
How large is the accessory building?
I believe it's about 1,000 square feet. I don't have the exact number, but that's what I recall from looking at it. It's approximately 1,000 square feet. I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, I think it's, Steve made a comment about the A5 couple meetings ago, and it strikes me as odd that you can't have an accessory use in our A5, our biggest supposedly. It might have just been overlooked.
Yeah, I think that's really what it was. And frankly, we haven't really applied it that way until looking at the code and looking what's in an allowable application, because all of the other zones that allow the accessory structures call those out as a specific allowed use, but A5 doesn't call it out. And so it's really a challenge with the way our code is framed, because all of the other zones allow it, but A5 doesn't list it.
Yeah, Steve?
So I don't know if you remember, I can't remember exactly when, but this came up back, 2 or 3 times, and one with the Oregon guy. And I've not gotten my invitation to that recital.
He doesn't have the, yeah, it's not done yet, but
So anyway, so my comment or question is, and I have no problem with this particular thing here, but those houses are so big up there that originally it was like a 1/4 acre of buildable stuff versus, on a 5 acre lot and so much green and all those different things. And when you go and when we looked at it, I don't think it was for that one. I think it was for the one before, honestly.
Was it the tennis court?
Yeah,
and that was based on impervious surface. So we actually,
but this is, I think it needs to be cleaned up, because those buildings up there, exactly what the mayor was saying, those, I have a 1/2 acre lot, and I've got a huge, half of my 1/2 acre now is building.
So do we make it?
So it's just not clean.
We just need to clean it up. Yeah.
So I think, again, not with this, I'm not tying anything to this, but I think we need to look at that, because it's being abused, not on purpose, but we need to clean it up so that they can do it. So it's a nice thing, and still preserve the integrity of the 5 acre lots for water recharge or whatever.
exactly. And
you start filling it up. Some of those places could have 5 acres worth of house. That's a little
So
exaggeration.
my question is, and then in the other zones, it limits, the size that you can have. So what kind of limitations do we?
No, we'll address that when we bring it back.
Yeah, and it really doesn't, even on my 1/2 acre, I don't think there was a size limit necessarily.
It's a matter of how much of your.
It's on impervious surface and setbacks. That's what limits.
There's setbacks, but
We'll come up with a recommendation.
But yes, but I think that needs to be looked at. But we talked about that before, I know,
Yeah, we
because this was brought up, and apparently nothing ever
And there,
of it.
so with regards to impervious surface, that is addressed in my report in a later comment. They are in compliance with those requirements. There's also an agreement with regards to irrigation that I think it's 10,000 square feet or less that they can irrigate, and they have an agreement in that area.
But that whole patch area, I bet that 10,000 square feet is not being adhered to.
We need to stress to them that it's going to be.
Well, it hasn't always been properly adhered to, but as of late, we really have been restricting it. And that's why the pipe organ situation came about, because.
Anyway.
So Brandon, what is your recommendation if we approve that?
So do you still have more? Sorry, we interrupted you. Keep going.
So, okay, so there's one other significant recommendation. Our recommendation is that that the council can approve the application as is, with the accessory building being subject to a future text amendment. That it wouldn't need to come back to the council and just be a plan on file with the city. And then if that future text amendment is approved, then they could go ahead and build the accessory building. I can't remember exactly what the pool house is what they said by email today. And then there's one other adjustment that we're saying that needs to meet in order to meet the code, which is a distance. It's currently 12 feet from the north/east side of the earthquake fault. It needs to be 15 feet based on staff's reading of the geotech report. There's a calculation that says, regardless of what the calculation comes out to be, it needs to be 15 feet. It came out as 12. They put it as 12, but there's
That was in the geotech.
yes. And so staff's recommending that they need to go with that.
I don't know that 3 feet is going to make a difference, but okay.
I would say baloney on that.
Is the ball survey on?
Matches the report.
I think that's ridiculous.
I knew that was coming. All right. Cause I thought the same thing. I'm thinking.
No, I don't put any credence in that study at all.
Okay, so your recommendations are on the last page.
Yes. So,
There's 7 recommendations.
yes,
So if we move forward with this, your recommendation is that we approve it with these recommendations.
that is correct.
Okay, so then I will make a motion to approve the conditional use and site plan for the construction of a single-family home at Waterfall Drive, lot number 28, Full Patch 2 subdivision with staff's recommendations. As per to staff's recommendations listed by our planner in the report.
I would make a second on that if those staff recommendations did not include 15 feet from the fault line.
15.
Well, I would say 12.
I don't think it's in here, is it?
It's in there.
For the stipulation.
It is in the,
I don't care about that. If they want 12, give them 12.
Well, I think what it does is it protects the city. This is a sensitive area. That's why it's here.
So.
Well,
And then
we don't want them coming back to us saying, oh, the city let us build here.
I take your back 1 second.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Yuri, second by Marriott. Any further discussion?
I was just gonna say, I don't see, I've been looking to see if we have accessory buildings in A2. I don't see it in A2 either as a permitted use. So when we have this whole conversation, I think A2 and A5 both need it, unless I'm overlooking it.
We have allowed it. I know that
Yeah.
just recently, so.
Yeah, we've had similar things in the A5, and so it really is truly a cleanup item.
All right, call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
I have one comment before you do that. Why do they want 12 feet? What is that going to mess them up 12 to 15? Is it a lot line or is it just on a fault line?
it's just on a fault line. I can't speak to why exactly they want it there, but I would guess it's closer to a little bit closer to the pool, but the applicant, I believe their agent is online if they want to speak to that, but I'm just,
Were they okay with you saying?
we didn't discuss that particular issue.
I'm going to vote no.
Motion carries 3-1. All right, item 6 is a city boundary adjustment. Discuss the interests of the city council to adjust the boundary for a future resolution adoption. I'm guessing this is Amy.
This is, well, Brandon and myself.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know if you want to take the lead on
It
this
just
or
wasn't listed, so.
Grace.
Oh,
Oh, wait, I don't think we voted.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, yeah, we did.
I don't know if we put the map in here.
No.
Okay, sorry. So there is maybe we can, Lori, if you can find your way to this section of the county on the Weaver County website, and I'll try and give a brief overview. We've had Rick Scadden, a property owner, or at least he's acting on behalf of a property owner, to our understanding of some property. He has a Rock Point subdivision that he's doing in North Ogden. The challenge in his situation is that part of the property he wants to develop a lot in that subdivision in North Ogden is within Pleasant View. And then another portion of a parcel that someone else owns is in North Ogden. And so they want to align city boundaries with the parcel boundaries. And so staff did some analysis of state code on this. And essentially what we determined was that he needs to adjust the property boundaries before he applies to adjust or works with the city to consider adjusting the city boundaries. This can also be considered sort of a cleanup item, as I think it's fair to say. I don't see any real gain or loss to the city by either not consenting or consenting to this. I don't know the square footage, but it's, I'm certain it's less than an acre. It's probably less than a quarter acre of some property that they want to move in, some into North Ogden, some into Pleasant View.
Tyson's here.
Applying water to the.
North Ogden, isn't this?
Didn't we already vote on
So we did do some.
annexation?
We did an annexation piece that was unincorporated Weaver County. And we changed our annexation plan in order to allow, ultimately, at first they wanted to annex into our city, but then the access to utilities were closer to North Ogden. So they ended up having us change our annexation plan, and then they annexed into North Ogden. However, that wasn't the entirety of this. So this is an additional piece, kind of moving pieces around to allow for.
Accommodate the annexation to North Ogden.
Not approving it tonight, it's just, do you want to go forward and do you want to go forward?
What's it gonna do?
So it's gonna portion, oh, every time I click on that, it's gonna portion one of the lots into our city and one of the lots into North Ogden. And it's ultimately making the lots buildable, usable lots, because there's these weird slivers across the city boundaries. And
Those two lots, you're saying?
This won't just keep going down where we have more lots in that area, coming back to saying, okay, this won't work for us, can we do this one too?
They would have to go through the process again, but this is just for a really small portion of property. It's like, maybe 3,000 square feet on one and 3,000 square feet on the other.
Property, city boundary just cuts through at a weird angle. Makes
Yeah. Yeah, it's
right in this area.
So that dashed line is the city boundaries?
Yes, the dash line is the city boundaries and the triangular area here, but I think it's pulling a little bit over into this. Is that correct, Brandon?
yes, it goes a little bit, the city boundaries go a little bit above that line that runs north-south. You can see the small dirt road there, and the city boundaries go a little bit to the east of that. So,
They want to pull,
Oh, if we don't do this, part of their lot would be in Podium, part would be in North Ogden
yeah, and undevelopable as a result.
and develop this result.
Are we ever gonna have water to that?
My understanding was this one was part of that, that when we were lawful and for Boston, and then just here's what about any good luck, you know, come through that Grand Legacy, which is roughly an acre. We agreed to let them go through the finish there. Where the fire goes off.
Where did we put,
Grand Legacy.
we put somewhere up there, we put a connector. It stopped, but we could, if it needs to be, we could go back and forth with the water line. Didn't we do that? So that's quite a bit higher. So would we do some of the same types of things with this, or would our service stop and their service stop then? Because I can see that road developing further as it goes on at some point.
Yeah, and so you can see the Grand Legacy stuff right there, you just have to that P. So that was where Grand Legacy's already got it down there. So they already have water main for that stuff. They just never came back and finalized some water main there, storm drain there.
So we don't have anything right here.
Yep. Yeah, that's fair.
But it's on the plug and keep going.
No, and during the discussions where they're gonna do that lot switch.
Is this North Ogden?
yeah, so that's the border to North Ogden. And if you see this road here, I think the intention is eventually this will all develop into one cohesive development area with utilities. But the challenge being right now, they're wishing to develop here and they,
Just that one parcel.
Yes.
Splits it, makes it undeveloped.
Yes.
And that would be a defining line where sewer would end at North Ogden's border, flowing east. And then when they develop down to it on our side, you're gonna flow to the west. So there should be a cleaner break, not guaranteeing it, because obviously they haven't laid the plans out down on that bottom end, but that was the intent I understood when they were having these discussions 6 months ago or so, roughly.
So we just need to
say, yes, go ahead and look at this, or no, don't.
And not an action.
Right, but
It's
just
just, you want to, well,
to work
putting all
on it.
the effort into it. It's a big deal. You want,
It's a lot of technical requirements from the state, and we're just trying to gauge, do you want staff to go ahead and start preparing a resolution on it, and meeting the requirements, to do so? They've been in the process for, since October. They're actually farther along than we are. They are, I think they're considering an ordinance. There's like 3 steps essentially, and they're doing the last of the steps tonight. But both cities have to agree. It's not like like Pleasant View isn't pressured just because they do it, but both cities have to. Yes.
Yeah, when it comes to annexations, especially of land that's already annexed into the city, I mean, unincorporated is quite different. I mean, both cities have to modify their annexation plans and then actually take action to modify the city boundaries.
So we've done step 1.
This leads
This is
us
different
to
pieces.
step 1. Yeah, the other one was different. We've already, that was a different item.
Does it make sense to address, if there's multiple areas, to address them all at once, than to wait on those?
So this would address the multiple areas because it's these 2 triangular pieces in our city and in North Ogden. It's a petitioner that brought it forward. We really can't proactively address other areas throughout the city. So it'd just be focused on what they're proposing.
It's not a very common, action that occurs between cities because it's like this multi-party negotiation essentially, right? So, but
I'm not sure we will be doing it again. I mean, the problem is because it's right in the corner, in that 90-degree corner of the city. That's where the problem becomes. All that above there's in Pleasant View, pure and simple.
But I guess my question is somebody decides to purchase that property that's just in Pleasant View, like solid, but utilities are closer to.
No, don't.
You know, and might say, hey, can we do this too?
What is the annexation process? So does we initiate a petition or something like that on behalf of the applicant, or what's the city's role in the annexation?
so Laurie can step in if I get something wrong here, but there's a resolution that needs to be prepared that declares the intention of the city. Both cities have to do that. Then you have to do this series of public notices. And then after the public noticing, then each city has to prepare an ordinance declaring that, and both have to be successful in that in order for it to, the property to change from one city to the other.
Charge that to the property owner to.
We're going to charge the cost of the mailings and the noticing for it. It's kind of a unique thing. And that's what you all may have recalled a couple weeks ago on the agenda, we had that because we didn't have a fee. And so the fee will just be whatever the cost is.
For the property owner, because we're doing a favor for the property owner, really.
Right. No. Yeah, absolutely. And one of the other things too, sorry, Brandon, to jump in, but I mean, once that resolution, if a resolution is approved or adopted to move forward, there's a 60-day window where the public can come and kind of dispute that if they feel strongly against it. Annexations, it is a huge deal. It's modifying city boundaries. And so obviously, even though these are tiny tweaks, it still goes through the same process outlined in Utah law.
I don't see any to this particular adjustment. The only downside I can think of is making sure that we're adequately compensated for staff time and things like that. I don't want to say that city boundaries don't matter, but in this case, it's such a small piece of property. What it's really functionally doing is making a piece of property usable for a property owner and in North Ogden. And then at some point in the future, it might make a potential future single lot usable in Pleasant View for it. But it's more removing a roadblock than creating some big change.
Just with this, but not necessarily.
Well, this wouldn't be an annexation process, but
I guess the one downside, and it modifies our potential property tax revenue. ultimately.
by dollars.
But then we also aren't servicing utility, so they're, I mean, and that's
Well, if
another.
the lot's unbuildable, it's going to be unbuildable forever. It's not like, if it's unbuildable, it isn't going to be buildable. So it's not like we're giving up a lot in Pleasant View. We're giving up half a lot.
No, I was just asking.
Yeah.
Just to see where.
So
That's all.
No, it's a good
it's
question.
either going to remain an unbuildable parcel, or it's going to be adjusted to because of the uniqueness of this particular.
Just for kicks and giggles, pull the map down a little bit. Kenny. Where's 4,300 go on the top up there? So is that, and then just go, I just wondered how close that was to connecting.
It's connected.
Zoom out just a little bit.
It's connected with that up with that north and south, but it really doesn't go further.
You can go all the way over to Washington through there.
Is
Oh,
that,
no?
do we have a plan
Well, you
to
can-
connect that?
Can't you? Yeah, it's not like direct, but you can
Is that-
get,
Right.
I'm sorry, I just, while you had the map up, I just wanted to see how that was developing, because I thought all that Marriott stuff was
4050, ain't it? You're looking at, or is that 43?
This is 4,300 north right here.
Straight.
So, yeah, down here, it's kind of blended in.
we've got a nice road all the way up to the border.
So
Still is.
100 east is enough.
They're putting in a lot of road up there.
And I thought personally, again, I
Gotta go up there and drive.
but I thought it extended further than just.
What I heard, there's 2 or 3 more subdivision phases that I think 43.
Subbed off from there.
All right. What do you think? So we got a
There's
nod,
no
yes?
formal action, I guess. It's just if there's any strong opposition.
Oh, thumbs up.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Item 7, vacate public street clarification. Discussion possible action to consider a resolution providing clarification of ordinance 2022-30 adopted on October 25th, 2022 to vacate a certain public street in Weaverview subdivision. Resolution 2023-A. Amy?
Yes, okay, so before you this evening is something that you've seen before. When we went to the recorder's office in an attempt to record the street vacation for Weaverview for the Ivory Homes development and to record the plat, which has been approved by this body as well. There was some concern with the language included and that there wasn't enough specificity because some of the lots described didn't have the lots, just a lot description for the roadways outlined on the exterior side of the road and that weren't in the development. And so this is just kind of a catch-all. It has a legal description that involves the entirety of the development. It is a bit messy because, as you all probably recall, there was a subdivision that was recorded back in the 60s. And so we are trying to replace that. And in order to do that, we have to properly vacate the roadway. But recorder's office didn't feel what was provided before was sufficient. So this has provided abundant clarification of the legal description of the plan for which the road will be.
And there, in order to clarify our messy, how did you state that, or? The mess, whatever it was, I'm sorry.
I don't know. You get to clean up our mess. You
Clean
can
up
say it.
our mess. I make a motion that we approve this resolution 2023A as stated in item number 7 to clear up our mess.
Second. Motion by Gibson, second by Nelson. On the resolution. Nelson?
Yes.
Yuri?
Yes.
Gibson? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 8, council members committee appointments. We should have something like that.
You mean we're staying with the same, or are we putting Sarah on everything?
I would get where.
One thing I've been kicking around is on the planning commission. Having everybody take like break it up and have like 4 months, each person do 4 months, something like that, just kind of so everybody can get a better understanding what the planning commission does and whatever. Just a reminder again that, and we can come up with a schedule. You're there as kind of the council liaison, so listen, if they ask you something, answer, but we will get to hear most of the stuff here, so.
Eric, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What is the purpose then of that? I mean, they're really autonomous from city council. Why do we need to have a?
Well, we don't need to. We can just,
No, actually, state law, you have to have a recommended body.
no,
Oh, not-
we need the planning commission. We don't necessarily need
No.
council members.
No, but I mean, I've been to several and it's nice to, when something's come up that I want to hear, but what do we, I don't feel we need a council member present at the planning commission.
I think
Point, I mean, I watch most of them on Zoom, so.
But
You just go or.
Do you have
or whatever.
Do you have an opinion, Brendan?
I think it helps build understanding, especially if there's, if you're looking at code amendments in the future, it can help provide context to deliberations among the planning commission. And then also if there's clarification needed on a recommendation or decision that the planning commission has made, I think it's helpful. I mean, whether they need to attend in person or not, I think could be decided up to them. But I think it's helpful.
so are you saying that, excuse me, Mayor, so are you saying that guidance and counsel could be given by the city council representative at planning commission? Are you?
I was more indicating that it helps the city council understand the decisions, recommendations that the planning commission's made. The city council gets to weigh in for sure, at the final step of any legislation that's passed or anything, because
I feel that staff report, come and the questions can be asked to you or to Amy at the time, but I don't know. I just wonder.
No, I agree 100%. When I try to avoid going because I think it influences them if I'm sitting there.
I don't want to be
Even a subtle nod or something could influence somebody.
And I've always tried to not, I'm just a regular public, and that doesn't stop, us from going as a public person, but to be there representing city council, I think could be considered a conflict of interest or something.
Yeah, I can see where.
Anyway, that's just
Yeah, and I think if the rules are clear, I guess one of the things that I think is a nicety is really having that connection, because otherwise I think the planning commission does their role, the city council does their role, and then there's really not kind of this interaction unless it's intentionally so, and really understanding each other's roles.
And that's the only reason I say that. I just wondered what that purpose of having a representative there is. We're really not supposed to.
Have you been it the whole time?
I can give you some context, not here as to why, but yeah. So I think rotation would be good.
Okay. Well, we'll
I
come up
would
and then you
forfeit
can
my
either,
rotation.
you can either not go, you can zoom in, you can watch YouTube, whatever,
I think the rotation would be good. I'm in favor of that.
We'll outline something for that.
Well, and I think it'd be nice not to force everybody to go, but for the planning commissioners to get to know their council members a little bit better too, and for you to get to know them, and once they're voting, maybe understand.
Oh, and
Thought
like,
process or-
it's happened since I've been on it or whatever, that when there's things of interest, other people have come too, we just don't sit by each other really. So,
Okay, for me, I am no longer on the UTA advisory board as of last night. Yes. I mean, oh darn.
Want to go in for that one? Or?
No, that's been, Mayor Berube.
Oh, okay.
And I'm also, I think they did
I'm
away.
a little disappointed, Mayor, that you didn't do more for us in representing on UT, but that's my only comment.
so you're
on that.
not on the UTA anymore, you're on the 91 still though?
Yeah, the other one I'm still on for now, and the help. Okay,
Bring up the health department too.
yeah. And any, your assignments, anybody wants to change your assignment?
I just saw that I'm ramping recreation programs. I didn't realize that.
Well, she's,
Board, I can
Yeah.
give you advice and whatever if you like, but.
If you just do it. Just keep it under my name, but if you'll just do.
Yes. Yeah.
Mary, could we get another volunteer for the website oversight? Because I would like to in this next year, kind of take a look and
oh,
that's.
two, you mean?
Uh-huh.
Hey,
Wants to.
well, he's Dave is, but he's by himself.
Yeah, I'll do that one.
Dave wants to double up.
Dave-
Double the meetings, Dave. Don't.
What is website oversight?
There been any meetings or anything?
Yeah, what do
There
you?
haven't been.
We're waiting for Dave to call one.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds like she's got a plan. So,
Okay.
the only other one, Sarah, are you able to go to the senior citizen? I got a call that you missed a bunch of meetings and if
Not
you're,
a bunch. I missed the last one. Really have.
I don't know. I just going.
Put it on the record. She missed a bunch.
I'm good.
Sorry.
If you want somebody else to go to them, that's fine. But I'm gonna be on Zoom. I missed the last one. Yes. I did.
Yes, you did.
But they only have them.
It says I'm on it too. Am I really on it?
Yeah.
I think you missed a bunch.
I've
of
never
meetings.
been. Nobody ever told me I was on it. Am I really on it?
It's either you or, yeah, you are actually.
Hmm.
If you want to go.
Well, somebody needs to tell me when they are.
They're quarterly, that's it. There's one on Tuesday. I'm gonna zoom in because I have.
Today is Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, so
Oh.
the 17th.
All right. Who invites them? Who sends out the,
Ken White and Denise LaFever, who's the chair.
isn't Denise from Pleasant View?
Not anymore.
Oh,
She
she
left.
moved. Okay. Would you,
I'll forward you the-
yeah, please. Okay, any others?
Veterans Committee, that's been the Veterans Monument Committee. I know that was kind of an.
Hopefully that's gonna wrap up here pretty soon.
To just kind of, once it's all done, then what is that?
Yeah, it'll go away.
Okay.
You're,
Steve Chair.
I would say the Far West 2700 North Corridor Joint Committee, we dissolve that. I don't think. I've talked with Dave Chug and a few people. I just don't think that's gonna go anywhere.
I actually, maybe we changed the name of it, but I would say not dissolve it because we have that joint road project. We got that WACOG funding for.
But is that gonna be a joint with Far West though?
Uh-huh. Yep, it was a joint application. And I think we got all of the funding because it was a joint application from,
We got Marriott and Gibson on. Do you wanna, who called?
but if you want to mix it up,
Well, it's fine. It's
There is
just,
a bunch of
Oh, yeah.
development, but it's not 2700 North.
but it's our original CDA.
yeah, so it's going to be a different scope.
So as long as that's, I don't mind work or you being on that, but the CDA aspect of it.
Yeah, that's no longer part of it. So it's going to be a joint roadway project now.
So that's fine, just.
Still to call it.
I just, the original scope
Is
is gone.
completely modified, yeah. Agreed. It's gone. It's a new project.
So do we want to, we'll just rename it? Did we? do
No,
you-
it's okay. I mean, it's fine. It's
Do you
just,
want to be on it still? or-
I don't care. But just, I've talked with Dave, I talked to him last night. I said, what, are we doing anything? You know, what, yeah. So what is what's your thoughts on that? Other than the road, I mean, I know that's kind of gone through. We did talk about the horseshoe pond and a few things. Anyway. Sorry, Mayor.
All right, let's talk Founder's Day. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I don't know. What do you guys think? Everybody okay with their assignments? We work like a well-oiled machine.
As long as Amy does not stick her nose in.
Maybe she can make an agenda.
We are having if I have anything to say, we're having a water slide this
Yeah,
year.
the water keeps.
I don't think it'll be.
And we're gonna use
We can
Pine,
all go water slide.
and we're gonna use Pine View water and it's gonna be a fun time. And I'm
We
gonna
got plenty of water. My basement's flooding and it's the first time it's flooded in 15 years.
do you need to go, Mayor?
No, Charlene's on it.
Oh.
Got her down there with a teaspoon and a bucket. Anyway, something must happen to my sump pump.
That looks good to me. I mean, Bailey's helped obviously to fun running breakfast, so I hope they'll be around this year.
Okay. Any others? You still okay with youth city council? All right. Well, we'll make up a little chart for planning. Does that need like a motion to approve those assignments? Sure, let's do it. Somebody make a
Lori
motion.
just shook her head.
Oh. No? Yeah, it really does. Some of them needs to be like, I think, mosquito abatement.
Yeah, I might need to have that be reappointed. I don't know.
Okay,
So let's just do it.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the city council member committee appointments as discussed in statement.
Okay with the agenda, how I wrote it.
I think so. I
Yes.
think we'll be okay.
With the changes we had discussion. Do I need to state the changes? No, I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
I think it's
more,
fine because it's, I mean, noticed in the agenda, it's not based on the training I'm going to be doing. If everybody doesn't walk out.
And it is,
It's
it's
been
our
noticed.
business. It's the
Yeah,
business.
it's listed as business. I don't have issues.
All right, all in favor, say aye. Did I wait? Did I get a second?
Second, I second.
Motion by Yuri, second by Gibson. All in favor, say aye. Okay. Item 9, ramp grant application discussions, application of interest for 2023 ramp process, easy grants and future application items. I don't believe there's anything in the agenda or in the packet.
No, there's not.
Honest.
So just quickly, we met with PVPA on Friday, the Pleasant View Pickleball Association. With last year's grant that we received of $315,000, we did return that because it was insufficient with the $1.2 million project costs. In the what? Mhm. What was in, yeah, it encompassed. And so with that, met with the PVPA and they'd like to scale the project to just ports and to propose, and then with an intent to do the parking and the other pieces the next year. I wanted to get feedback from the council on that. So ultimately what we've been doing, the project's at about 1.2 to 1.4 million right now. They're going to continue to do fundraising. They've been fundraising in the last month. And so then it would be a city application of, and I think we discussed 350,000, and then they've got matching for about 350,000.
Here coming comment. Is that Jones and Associates estimate? Where do we get the estimate from?
It is, yep. So the city,
Are you sure? Because
That's where they got the.
I've talked with a couple people, not necessarily cities, but I just think that's ridiculous.
It's what other cities have paid as well.
Well, I still think that's ridiculous. I would like to, to pour concrete, you know, and I know there's a lot of stuff to tie that in and you make sure it doesn't break up, but. So that's not just pouring a slab. I get that. But man,
How far west's got it out there? They've got.
Well, if you call the other cities who have put them in the last couple of years, the cost estimate is very comparable to every other city. Truly.
I will get some facts on that and bring those back because
Wow, if we could build it cheaper, that'd be great. But
this is part of the problem. We rely on that and that's where we put it. But if I was to go build it myself, it wouldn't cost me that much, even if I build it. I don't think, and maybe I would be wrong.
But there's city way, private way. You can't do it private way in the city. You can't.
Well,
you have to do things.
Why can't I?
Because it's other people's.
But if I can build it to the same standard, my way versus the city way.
All the state laws and regulations. Sure.
What's the state laws and regulations of building a pickleball court?
All of how you do construction.
No. I mean, you've got to put the structure in the court. I get that. That's something you can't, that I wouldn't do maybe as a, but your way, No, well, not your way, but
Regulations.
what rules and regulations?
Well, and it's cost estimations right now. So we would need to go out to bid depending on how the bids come in. We do have, some,
But it just seems like for 8 pickleball courts and fencing, you know, I can see if we get lighting and are we talking lighting too?
yes, lighting as well.
Lighting, benches, retaining walls, or
Where's the retaining wall? I thought.
Down below. So if we put the parking in, and so that would be kind of the second
Is
element.
that gonna be wet? Is that gonna, is this gonna,
quarters.
are we taking the trees out or are we leaving the trees?
Leaving the trees in.
Some of
Most of
the
them.
site prep that's being donated and the surfacing and all those things that are donation in kind, it's still,
All right.
you know.
I apologize. I take back any comment that I made, but I'm gonna make some calls personally if that's okay.
And I think that that's fine because we're not spending any money right now. It's just asking for money and in anticipation.
It's just,
for what the project
because we had
costs.
originally had, what was our original cost for that?
Our original estimated
Estimate.
cost,
600 something?
150,000.
So,
That was for 8, that wasn't for 9.
so is this just because of the inflated prices of some
So
of concrete?
concrete is a big part
Other
of it.
cities, it's about
But
5
then
to
when
6
we-
cities.
When we got into the real cost of it, so when we had our estimate before, it was based on projects completed 4 to 8 years ago. So I mean, it wasn't
If you-
completely current information. The construction boom hit, but I mean, I don't know. I hope that we can get it for a lot less, frankly. but-
I hate, and maybe I'm just living in a whole other world, but this, Sarah says that, you know, if a private person is gonna put this in, if I was, you know, Pickleball America, whatever it is, I'm gonna put in 8 pickleball courts, I'm gonna put it in to a quality standard versus what the city does. It just always seems like the city
And I'm not
is
saying-
twice as much. Anytime the government gets involved, it's twice as much.
Oh.
You know, if we're building I don't know.
Is there a way for us to get an estimate without, or go for a quote and not use it?
Well, and that,
Get some hard
there's some ethical problems with that too, though, because. I
Because
mean,
there's 2 or 3
They
people
put
that
a lot
really
of
do
time and
pickleball
effort.
courts and they do them right. And I don't want Joe's concrete company going for it. I'm not saying that, but there's 2 or 3.
We're with you on that.
And so,
If it
anyway,
doesn't feel any better, there's about 6 or 7 other cities who went out for pickleball courts who've redone their ramp applications because costs quadrupled.
So I
I'm
don't.
probably.
Okay, what's the next one?
Well, just really quickly, the main thing is I just need a general support to complete that application. And,
How much are we asking for? Tell me how much.
1,000.
That's how much the application is for this time? That's 400.
I thought it was 450.
It's 450.
Well, yeah, I'll have to check.
Okay.
I haven't
Is it
spent a lot
saying
of.
it was that last time? So why did we give it back?
Because of the way the grant was worded, what it.
Because we're not doing a full, complete build out this time.
in the language, so we redid it.
And then just one quick note on that, North Ogden called me yesterday and they are putting in an application for a couple pickleball courts and for a trailhead area where they're gonna put some restrooms and wanted to know if we'd be willing to do letters of support for those. We did letters of support for Harrisville last year for their pickleball and renewed that this year. I think it's complimentary because ours is a tournament facility. They're different. They were willing to, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if neighboring area entities.
Half of them use it anyway. Half of the usage is by
We
them anyway.
had letters of support last year from Plain City, Far West, Tiffany Staley, the school, for the visitors, Chamber of Commerce, businesses.
They were talking about putting in how many courts?
I am not certain on the numbers.
Well, Blake Severing told me it's 2.
Oh, North Arden?
This is where Kyle Anderson.
So if that's all good, then I'll work on that application and then the other, and then we will have some ideas for some easy grants coming as well.
That'd be great. I give you my support.
Thanks, Bill. Thanks, Steve. And if we can spend less, I'm all for that.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. If it's what it is, it's what it is. Just-
So right now it's just an estimation, but we need to go off that to
Seems
apply for
nuts.
funds. Yeah.
Okay. Next one, then.
So
Schedule.
what are we doing with grant? Are we doing any more applications? Okay. No, I had, okay.
All
Well,
the other are easy grants, right?
there were,
We've got six grant applications. If you want them, they're just gonna go to waste.
If somebody can put them together, because he can't do them between now and Friday.
That's, I know, 2 + 6.
So I told her we need to,
1.2 million.
we probably need to get requests in before,
Parks and Rec.
by like November, August. August would be great.
August would be great if we need to scope out engineering in that. Thanks for listening, Bill.
We have to have them done by Friday, the round.
Yeah,
Yeah, the applications are due, but
really, we should have had this discussion like back in August.
Yep.
Hey, guys, we've got 6, we've got 3 in Parks and Rec, 3 in Arts and Museum, and 1 major and 3 easy. And then we also have our municipal.
but the easy ones, the deadline is later, so we can do those. So,
Can we do something for the all sports park? I mean, if
What do you want to do?
I doubt it.
Possibly.
Yeah.
You can do
Tyson?
You would have to get pricing real fast.
No, we already were turned down because we haven't finished.
So we've done on sports park.
Tyson's got to comment on that because they've been monitored.
Yeah, and
Often rent funds for all sports.
I think they pulled 2 originally and gave some back, but
Tyson has something he wants to, yeah.
just, I mean, it's good that that money's out there, but I don't think you can effectively run that many projects because you've still got all your other department projects. So yes, grant money's always nice when you're ready to receive it, but there's still a lot of work that goes into managing those funds. And if you throw together, the only one we even sort of have ready is the pickleball courts that would just minus the enough funds. So if you start throwing together, you don't have plans for any other project really,
Right.
that
But
you just,
for a reference in the future, you can do rent or Parks and Rec with your parking lots. You know that, and
I don't know about a park, to build a new one, maybe not resurface.
you can do your asphalt, your concrete. You can do employee overtime if it's outside of regular time. You can do billions and all sorts of things.
But yeah, a lot of those we are not ready to do. So to hurry and try to throw something together, you're not gonna do it efficiently or you're gonna turn in another mess to ramp, which I don't.
Hopefully, my plan on the all sports park, and Tyson needs to know this because to fit into what he's just saying, is we can get what we talked about with Carson and the other things worked out so that next year I would like to apply for a grant to either the parking lot or the trail track around it.
But like,
We did a grant to do the parking lot. They turned us down. They were not happy with our level of completion of the project. So like I said, I think if we can get done what we talked about doing and get that a working park and then go after a track.
You know, there's some of those, you talked about 5,000 or what was it, $1,000? Did they just give you what?
each of those are grants.
Oh, there's some other thing that
The
was,
easy grants.
They're $2,000 each. I would like to use one for the entertainers and another one for employee overtime that helps.
Well, I think we can still apply for those.
Yeah.
All the easy grants. We
they're
can.
not due until the spring. We've got some time on those.
I'd like to get another bandstand thing like we have there. And not bandstand, what's the stage?
I would actually
With
love
the-
to put together, which would be impossible, a cover for the
Yeah.
stage. That could have been one of the major,
Another one.
yeah, yeah. And wanted concrete and another pavilion down at Shaded End. Which you can do.
Which we're gonna take some
Yeah,
discussion, but
And
again,
hopefully,
that's a project.
yes,
Got to kind of schedule in. That's a major project.
that part, capital facilities and impact fee, because it hasn't been updated in so long, as in starting July 1's budget.
Sarah,
That's a good
I
one.
wanna
You
put
put
Sarah
all
on
those
that.
together.
you guys.
Yeah.
And decide what we want to do.
Definitely. All right. Let's maybe keep on mind, maybe a grant work session in August.
Yeah.
Does that
I can
sound
do
good?
that. Yeah.
Grant
That's a
work
good
session in
segue.
August.
Well, that would be great. Do that at
Okay.
the beginning of August to just, and lay out what is available and.
Anything further there, Amy?
On the applications, no.
Okay, item 10 is the meeting schedule, should be before you. Set the 2023 city council meeting schedule. As noted with a few exemptions. One in April, one in July, and one in September. Why?
I got some similar questions. Larry and I went through and tried to anticipate. So there's a couple of conferences, the Utah League of Cities and Towns that's held in St. George. And then also our staff has a financial software conference at the same time in April. And so that's why that one's proposed. With July, it's just with the holidays in July. That doesn't necessarily preclude it if you feel strongly we should have a meeting. Yes, sorry.
As having a separate meeting in April and stuff, and we can go into the
They usually have our stuff due like the week of the conference. So I guess it makes it hard at the conference because we're preparing for the meeting the next week. But that doesn't mean that we can't still have it.
City provide notes for why we have a meeting on Valentine's Day. We can provide to our spouses.
Actually, we've been.
It doesn't, yeah, it doesn't matter to me. I'm joking. But
I just have my whole
No,
family
I
come
just-
public meeting.
I don't know. The only time we've ever, I've already told you this, not done a second meeting is, actually, we used to not do it on Founder's Day and then we reinstated that. And it was either Christmas or Thanksgiving, that's it.
So, and this is just a proposal from staff. Obviously, if you feel strongly to have these meetings, I mean, we're not gonna be opposed to that. I was gonna look up that. Oh, and we shifted the November ones because of Thanksgiving and then removed the one by Christmas.
July one, though, it's July 25th, the 21st is done. But
And part of it, and again, it's kind of that planning before, packets come out on the 21st. Is that something? Yeah, I was just trying to think through the whole process of the meetings and reviewing packets and all that.
24th is the city holiday, right? It is. yeah.
that Monday, but Friday, you're open.
No, we are. If you guys want to read your packets
Would
over
it-
that weekend, I'm good.
Would it be beneficial to have a placeholder and cancel it later or not post it now and then add it later? Which would be better? I'd say we post it for both. And then just cancel it if we need.
And we're not opposed to the meetings, so,
Less meetings is,
So April would be April 25th, July would be July 25th, September be 26th, and December be 26th. And we can post that way and we can cancel them just like. Yeah. And that's-
do you want the original November dates on there then? So it would be,
No, that's okay I think that's okay to,
I think it's better
okay to move that one. And we could do something similar if you'd rather December be, but I'd almost rather have it the day after Christmas as I would the week before Christmas, because I'm not as busy the day after. Week before I am.
yeah, we can do the packets on Christmas Day
But
then.
we've never done the second one. Not never, but we don't.
We just did it.
Well.
It was
It was a week
4
after,
minutes,
so
4
it
minutes
was-
long. But
Mayor, I propose that we just plug the dates in, cancel when we don't need it. I don't want to have a meeting, just have a meeting, but I think
Yeah.
we posted it first or second and fourth Tuesday with the exception of November. I would say we could do away with this. That is so busy.
Which one?
Never had a regular meeting in December, typically that, we're on Christmas.
modify November, one in December, and the rest twice. Okay,
And then
got a
please,
motion? Okay,
So everything's the same, so, well.
Okay.
December, yep.
And then the modified November schedule, they were good.
You say the same, April 11th, April 25th, July,
Yeah, so the,
The December one, you're not,
right?
okay,
Okay.
so adding the other ones, but not.
Great Christmas gift.
A motion by Gibson, second by Erie. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Open and public meeting training. Let's go on to, if it's okay with the council, we'll move on to item 12, a closed meeting. So any of you that desire to leave for the training, because you've already had it, can if you'd like, unless you want to go ahead with the training now.
I think that's good. I do. I've got a
Okay.
other base.
Closed meeting. We need to, a closed meeting. So I'd entertain a motion to go into closed meeting to talk about security issues.
Motion to go into closed meeting.
Second motion.
Okay. Motion by Nelson, second by Urick. The roll call.
Yes.
Okay. Nelson,
Yes.
Yuri,
Yes.
Marriott, and Gibson. Okay, we're in a closed meeting. We'll wait till the